democratic. Everybody has come first once. So.
Okay, I'll do it first. I think there will be productive gains, continued productive gains from AI, and I think there will be in 20 years, right? In 20 years, I think there will be a debate on the philosophical question, like what do we do as a human, like what the meaning of us when job is work is not a big part of our life, and how we position ourselves in this world. If we believe, if the the making money business is taken care of by machines, and I think this is something probably not thinking about in 5 years, but I think in 20 years, surely we should think about it.
I would say, okay, let me first try and answer the moonshot question. I mean, AGI, artificial general intelligence, is the time when machines train themselves. So that is, if you ask me, inherently scary. Because obviously they're no longer under control of humans. There's no moral intervention, there's no regulation, there's nothing. They just train themselves. Perhaps I'm misunderstanding that. If so, please somebody put me right. But I think that's inherently very, very scary. The next thing I'd say is that when we look forward 10, 20 years, if you ask me, we are approaching not a new world order, but a post-American disorder. I think the world is heading towards fragmentation. I don't think the West will accept the scenario that I've laid out, where China is the world superpower, and therefore a lot of geopolitical power accrues to China. I don't think that the West is in any way ready to accept that. And then there are issues such as data privacy, cyber hacking, all of these things, which at the moment are poisoning the security relationship between the West and China, and I think will increasingly poison the commercial relationship as well. Because when countries are forced to choose between their security and their economy, well, maybe, it's an open question right now, but maybe they will choose their security. And if they do that, then I think the economic links with China will be eroded, and you'll get what we have already. We haven't mentioned the rare earth issue. Perhaps you were asking me to do that at the beginning, but I think we're going to get one after another of examples of economic coercion by China towards the West and by the West towards China. So that will accentuate the security element of our relationship and denigrate the economic aspect of it. So I think that's where we're headed.
Thinking about the why and so what if one wins. If I go back to the MAGSCA, the Korean shipbuilding, and its ability to, I mean, the head of the US Navy earlier this year said, and I quote, that it's a mess, right? The whole of the Navy and the ability to build ships. So if I go back to that and the potential to sort of build capacity at scale, the analysis from that more geopolitical, geostrategic security perspective would say the Navy, the most boats wins, right? That's the idea. Like just the most resource in that specific military arena wins. And so the ability to develop capacity and to benefit from the co-location that James mentioned earlier. I read recently that the Chinese Navy now has more than 200 times the boats, right, the sort of frigates and the aircraft carriers like collective than the US does. Right? It's just a massive scale, just a huge not catching up, like just leapfrogging past. So there's a question there about the sort of the so what and the ability to produce at scale. On the sort of social so what of AI and what will we all be doing in 15, 20 years and working or not, I think it's worth saying that John Maynard Keynes had said that his grandchildren would work 15 hours a week. Right? The expectation that because of the advances in technology, we would have so much more free time, and what would we do with all of our free time? And then looking at the data over time, we work more hours in the time that his grandkids were employed than not. So there's a question about the extent to which it really shakes or rocks or complements or extends. the last point I would say is it's not only US and China, obviously. I mean, we're one sitting here in the UK, but then also a lot of the work that I have been doing with Ramon is on middle powers, right? And how do middle powers compete? And how do they assert or exert their power in a positive, constructive way? How do they act in terms of, you know, bearing economic statecraft and mattering? And perhaps, again, to go back to the Korean shipbuilding as one just really clear example, you matter because you're really good in specific niches, and you can drive capabilities, and you can sort of hedge and bandwagon and sort of balance powers in ways that suit your positioning. So I think there's the sort of external security imperatives. I'm still unsure as to what it does to society in the short term in terms of our work and societal structure. I'm sure you guys have it all figured out.
Thank you. I mean, it sounds to me that nobody has yet figured it out. There's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, AI, if anything, is increasing uncertainty about the future. I hear from you that it's going to get messier, in particular internationally, geopolitically, but also maybe more confusing on what AI does for societies. But I'm glad to hear that nobody thinks the world is going to end very soon. But also that there are opportunities, right? For there are good things coming out of AI. Hopefully, maybe we will work less. Who knows? And that's also important to focus on, not only the challenges. So I would like to open up for questions now until past. You have been first.
Real change starts with people, it starts with us. At the AM to PM Wellbeing Service, we're building a platform for grassroots action. When you like, share, and subscribe, you amplify our mission and help us empower communities to build a better future. This is how change happens.